One night I was thinking about a dress I used to wear. Then I decided to draw it. Then another, then another. After I drew all the dresses I could think of, I thought, these dresses tell a story. My mother always wore a black dress and brown shoes with a buckle on it. She had glasses, but every time I tried to draw her, I always forgot to draw her glasses. She had the most beautiful face. She used to make all of my sister and my clothes. But what I really wished for was a store-bought outfit. The spring after my mother died, my father took me to B. Altman's hardware store on my 13th birthday. We were both very sad, but when we walked in, he said, "This is my daughter Gingy, and she needs something to wear her for her 13th birthday, and we need your help." They all rushed over to help because he was so handsome. I was in agony trying to decide between two dresses, and he said, "Don't worry, I'm buying them both." One day, my grandmother got me and my sister and said that we were going to live with her, Grandpa, and Aunt Babby. I never saw my father again. Clothes are useful beyond protection. They allow for a display of identity. According to DC Fashion Week from October 2024, fashion has been a display of identity for centuries. You could see cultural movements, economic conditions, and much more. So today, love, loss, and what I wore. A play by Nora Ephron and Delia Ephron. My grandparents lived in a brownstone building. My grandmother had believed in two cures: hot tea for anything wrong on the inside and Vaseline for anything on the outside. So I said, "It's easy to fall in love with a rich man as a poor man." But that's just not true. Seriously, not true. My best friend Dora lived across the street from me. We used to stick our heads out the window and yell to the guys walking past, "You're going bald, mister!" We thought we were hilarious. And every time Dora got to go somewhere special, her mom would say, "Take Gingy with you." She let me, this peach strapless ball gown, when we went to the Choate School for Boys in Connecticut for the weekend. This is the coral wool jersey dress I bought for a date with Walter Fenton. I was madly in love with Walter Fenton. Every time we'd go out, Walter begged me to go all the way. Finally, at a fraternity party at Dartmouth Winter Carnival, he told me he couldn't see me anymore because necking was just too painful. He went off to have a beer and left me sitting on the floor. After a long time, he came back. I said I wanted to spend the night with him. "Are you sure?" he said. "I'm sure," I said. So we did it. That's when I found out that in sex, once you do something once, you have to keep doing it. At the end of my freshman year, I thought I was pregnant. I had no idea what to do, so I went to my sociology professor at Simmons College for advice. Turned out I wasn't pregnant, but by then, Walter had vanished. Pink satin princess-style dress I bought in Feline's basement in Boston for my marriage to Harry M. Johnson. I was 20 and Harry was 37. Harry was my sociology professor at Simmons College. One day, I was coming down the front steps from our apartment, and there was Walter Fenton. He had joined the Navy and looked handsomer than ever in his uniform. "Gingy," he said, "why'd you do it?" He kissed my cheek, and then my hand, and then walked away. I would love to be able to tell you that nothing good ever happened to Walter Fenton, then that he ended up being a used car salesman. But the truth is, he won a Pulitzer Prize. The prick. Iridescent brocade Chinese-style dinner dress I bought in Cambridge for a New Year's Eve party. Harry convinced me to buy the dress even though it was expensive. The party was at the home of Harry's friends Penny and Ecky. Anyway, at midnight, I got very upset because I couldn't find Harry. Then I saw him. He was kissing Penny. Harry, I said, and you know what he said? Of course you know what he said. He said, "It's not what you think." But it was exactly what I thought. So that was that. I was 21 years old, and I was going to be the youngest divorced person in America. After I got divorced, I moved back to New York and lived with Dora, who was studying to be an actress. This is a yellow ochre sack dress Dora lent me when she fixed me up with Al Beckerman. He's very sweet now, but don't you go off and marrying him. Are you listening to me, Gingy? Floral print cotton pick dress I purchased at a very snooty store in New Canaan, Connecticut for my marriage to Al Beckerman. He's very sweet, I said to Dora. And she said, "I know, but are you sure? We both want a big family." How big, Gingy? Black and red print taffeta maternity dress. First worn when I was pregnant with Isabel, then when I was pregnant with Lily, Michael, Joe, Julie, and David. I ordered this beige wool pantsuit from the Spiegel catalog. One day I walked into my office and there was a man sitting at my desk. He had a glue stick in his hand and he said, "Do you know how to open this fucking thing?" It was as if Cupid had shot an arrow right into my heart. "Fuck," he said, and left. Later that day, I found out his name was Stanley. So there it was. First Walter, then Harry, then Al, then Stanley. I loved this print jersey Diane Fawn first Sting wrap dress I was wearing the day I told Al I couldn't stay married to him anymore because I'd fallen in love with Stanley. It wasn't really Al's fault. Al was so sweet. If I find myself in a department store, it's like wandering through a desert, like a forgotten woman. Actually, when I was young, there was a chain of stores called the Forgotten Woman. Now I am that forgotten woman. And the store isn't even in business anymore. How ironic is that? After I finished making all of these drawings and writing all the bits and pieces that went with them, which took about a year, I made some copies. And I put them in a big red binder and I gave them to my children and my two best friends. I was done. I wanted them to know that I wasn't always their mother. I had best friends. We had fun. We did stupid things together. But I was happy. And most of all, this is the story of my life.